Hi guys, welcome to the Darkness channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I am Elisa, the ghost. I can do whatever I want. You did not think I will come back, right? I answered without moving my eyes from the fence. This cannot be true. Troy, help me. He trembled like a leaf. Troy remained on the floor like a lifeless object. Let me show you that this is the bitter truth. I hold the fence in my fist and throw it with excessive force, which transpires the cage, making a tiny hole and end up into his calf. The fence penetrated so deeply inside his leg that it was neither visible nor could Christian take it off himself. Blood streamed from his wound. He held his cough and agonized. With his clogged voice, he screamed for help. But who will save him? He is stuck with a ghost and his useless friend. Nobody going to save you but yourself, I said calmly. Please, I was drunk that night. Maybe we can make an arrangement. He tried to convince me. The plan was that Troy should kill you, but we can make compromises, I said after a few minutes of reflection. He gave Troy a menacing look because he might be thinking that Troy betrayed him. Creating enemies was not what I wanted, but if the situation is going to turn up this way, so be it. You betrayer. He planned everything and now you want to kill me too. He yelled and snapped the grill with his palm. Calm down, old man. He actually does not have a choice. It's either you or Malia. You know, his ex-girlfriend, I said. I will not die, he cried out. If you win the game, you will not only the loser will go to hell tonight, I announced. Which game? Troy spoke. He came out of his trauma and paid attention to me. I cannot blame him for being petrified because he already witnessed my type of game before. Well, we will play 2 games. Game number 1. See the decomposing body over there. The first one who will eat a piece of it will be the winner. I shouted with excitement. What? Both my prey exclaimed. Oh, Christian, if you do not know whose body is that, it belongs to Troy's mother. I killed her too. I grinned. You psychopath. I'm not going to eat my mother. Troy squawked. You have 5 minutes to cut 2 pieces of your mother. Hand 1 piece over to Christian and 1 for you, I simply answered. And you, Christian, do not try to flee away. Remember, I am more rapid than you, and you are just an old man now. I proceeded before opening his cage to let him out for the game. Troy's mind dazed while his tongue stayed dumped. Unable to move, he stayed immobile. I put him in a difficult situation. He should choose over his life or feed himself with the rest of his mother. Earlier he begged me to kill him. It would not be a shot if he let Christian win without a fight. However, when it will come to the second part of the game, he will have to fight even if he wanted or not. 1 minute gone, I screamed. You idiot! Go and cut her! Christian shouted at Troy. That's my mother! He shouted back. 2 minutes gone. I proceeded. I will do it myself, Christian exclaimed. Christian leaned heavily as he moved toward Troy. For an old man, he was fast. He tried to snatch the knife from my ex-baby boy hand, but Troy showed some resistance, which forced Christian to push him down and took the knife with force. He speeded up toward Mrs. Peterson. Some place of her body was pale, while other places were darker. Her corpse was gruesome. Her decomposing tissue emitted green substances. Her lungs expelled liquid from her mouth, and nose and insects like maggots were already feeding themselves off her body. Christian slided 2 pieces of flesh from her arm, which came out like glue. He threw 1 piece toward Troy, put 1 into his mouth, chewed it like gum, and swallowed it. Troy did not touch his part of food. Instead, he vomited on it. I win, he yelled happily. 1 point for Christian and 0 for Troy. Ready for game number 2, I announced. Yes, shouted Christian. The second game will only be played by the one who committed the less sin than the other. To be honest, Christian, I wanted you to win the first game. I grinned. What? He gazed at me confusedly. Do you know this verse of the Bible? But if out in the country a man happens to meet a girl, pledged to be married, and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. I said. What are you trying to say? He raised his tone. Well, both of you are my rapists, but tonight one among you will die. To decide who will die, I made you play the cannibalism game. What you did not know is that the winner of the first game will die tonight. I smiled devilishly. That's cheating, he cried out. I'm a ghost dude. I'm manipulative. I mocked. My sentence to you, Christian, is that Troy will castrate you. With this knife in your hand, I proceeded. My words made Christian tremble like a leaf. He shook his head in denial. But who was he to decide? I already made my judgment. Everything happened as my plan. I knew that Troy would never eat his mother. The plan was to kill Christian since the beginning. Just as Christian made a move to run away, I pushed my hands forward and projected a white light which hit him hard, causing him to fall down. The roots of the trees uprooted from the soil and spun around Christian's hand and feet to prevent him from running away. It felt so good to have so many power. It felt like being indestructible. Go and take off his pants, or I will do everything you refused to do with Malia, I ordered Troy. He advanced near Christian with hesitation and took out his pants. Christian gave loud and piercing, desperate cries. Troy looked at me, waiting for my next command. Now you see the knife next to your best friend. Pick it up. I beamed. He walked slowly near it with shaken hand and picked it up. What should I do with it? Troy's lips became white and palpitated. Castration, darling. You need to cut his penis. I smirked. No! Both Christian and Troy shouted. Malia or Christian? I leaned over my knees. Oh God, I'm so sorry for what I did with you. You are so much better than me. Do make me do that, he pleaded. No, baby, I was better than you, but now I'm worse than you. Now go, I exclaimed. He could not feel his feet anymore. He fell on the ground and crawled next to Christian, with the knife in his hand. He seized Christian's dick, closed his eyes, and ignored the pleading of his friend. He took a deep breath and began to slice the dick of Christian like a piece of bread. Blood shed as a fountain on the face of Troy. Christian yelled in agony, crying louder than a baby. His face became deep red color when suddenly everything became silent. He died after so much suffering. Troy sat there without blinking. The knife fell down from his hand, and he threw away the penis in disgust. Good job. I clapped my hands and opened the cage. Do you have anything that belongs to Adam and Fabrice? I proceeded. He was in trauma. He did not answer me. He just pointed towards Christian. I turned my head towards Christian. It's just then that I saw a pendant around the neck of my decent victim. I rushed and snatched it. It was filled in with blood. Why would Troy point at me that thing? What is it? I asked. The blood of Christian, Adam, Fabrice, and mine. All of us have one which signified the bond of brotherhood, he whispered. Great, you are being a nice boy. I smiled at him. It was now time to change the body. I might be seen as the wicked witch, ever by imprisoning my best friend inside of an animal cage, but it will be for only one day. If I ever let her go, she will confess everything to my father, and this will be a disaster. Anyway, her body would be of no use to me for my next plan. I needed Troy's body to create a perfect scenario. What I'm reserving for Troy was far worse than death. I extricated myself from Amanda's body and integrated Troy's body. Amanda fainted on the ground. I picked her up gently and locked her inside of a confinement. Sorry, my baby girl. See you later. I blew her a flying kiss before disappearing inside of my new body. I badly needed equipment for my new game. After my second victorious game, I became undestroyable and uncontrollable. I did not even think about visiting my dad. He tried to communicate with me through telepathy, but I did not get any enthusiasm to talk to him. I trekked to Brian's Market. It was a self-serving market offering lots variety of food, but food was less of my concern. What I needed were materials to kill. There was no one in the market except the cashier, who was a skinny man wearing a mustard t-shirt and a cotton navy casual pants. Everything I needed was just on the shelf behind him. The only obstacle was that I did not have any money to pay for my bonds. Maybe he will be kind enough to help a vengeful ghost. "Hi, can I help you?" He smiled at me, which made his braces visible. "Give me 2 handcuffs, a hammer, and a match," I ordered. He picked up everything I needed and scanned it through his barcode scanner. He thought I will pay for dead things, which of course not. Being a ghost is not a job to get paid, and the people who were supposed to help me was no longer getting along with my plan. Dad would have paid for those things if I asked him, but if by mistake I exposed my black eyes in front of him, he would certainly want to send me away from this world. This is not going to happen. I can manage my own things. The guy placed everything into a bag and handed it to me. I took hold of it and twirled around with the hope that he forgot about the money. "Madam, it will make you $10, he said. I stopped and spun around to face him. "I have no money on me," I said. "Then give me back everything," he shouted. "I cannot do that. Let me go before I let go of my temper." I made my way again to the door when I heard the sound of a slide loading cartridges. That's the sound of a gun. I turned back again and saw his hand on the trigger pointing at me. That's a mistake he should have never do. "Give me my money," he yelled. "You should have never done this." I grinned. I held my hand upright, while the back of my hand facing inward. He thought that I was about to surrender to him, but he was wrong. I clenched my last 3 fingers while bending both my thumbs and index. Slowly, I twisted my 2 fingers, making a semicircular gesture. The cashier's hand followed my gesture. He tried to resist, but he could not fight against my power. As soon as his hand twisted completely, leaving her pointing his gun in front of his own head, I clenched my other 2 fingers and boomed. He pressed the trigger. A piece of his brains threw over the wall while his body fell on the ground. I grinned and walked away from the market by humbling. I sneaked a look at the pendant, took it into my hands and squeezed it. The pendant broke and the blood stained my hand red. I lifted one finger, which was covered with my prey blood, and sucked it. It tasted like honey, leaving me wanting more of it. My eyes closed. I tried to localize them. The smell of their blood became more and more intense as I intensified my concentration. Suddenly, I got a vision. 2 men sitting inside a 10-foot, white, old, rusty traveling trailer. It was situated on an intense grassy land where trees were lining the path. Next to it was a body of water between green leaf trees. I opened my eyes without a clue of where is that place, but my ghostly instinct would take me there. I just needed to follow the smell of their blood. I'm coming for you. I will kill both of you. I grinned and walked down the sinister and silent road. By the time I would reach there, it will drown. Usually, I do not enjoy killing in daylight, but I needed to finish my job the soonest as possible. Tomorrow, I will turn the chapters of my past forever with a new fresh start. The grasses tickled my feet as I stepped inside. Riverview Forest. My instinct guided me to the exact place as my vision showed me. The wind blew my hair. The freshness of the air caressed my skin. My clothes blew like flags, and the leaning trees covered the sky, enabling only a few radiating lines of sun rays to penetrate it inside. Gentle tweets of birds could be heard from the trees as if giving me a warm welcome to the land. I walked along the grassy path, enjoying the pure air, the calmness of the place and its beauty. For a moment, I forgot about my revenge. All I wanted was to live again. I wanted all this permanently, not temporarily. My murderer killed me and are enjoying their holiday in such a paradise land. But how can I let demons enjoying paradise? I will send them where they belong. The grassy path was just an overview of the real beauty was at the end of it. As the path took an end, it brought me inside of its pleasant campsite meadow. The dense tussock grass resulting in the breeze. The old traveling trailer was right in the middle of the pasture land. There were no other camps inside, which will make my task easier. The meadow completed with a sparkling stream. Pine trees were alongside the narrow river. The soothing sound of the water flowing through the rocks were so satisfying that it could make all the worries of the world disappear. It was a shame to convert this splendid place into a butcher for pigs. It's time to get back to Earth and accomplish my mission. Since I will execute them in daylight, I needed to make the least noise possible. Troy's body was perfect for such circumstances. They would never feel alert of their best friend. I proceeded towards the traveling trailer and banged the door. I was impatient to see my next prey. "Open the door!" I shouted. It did not take long before Pimple's face showed up in his soft cotton trousers short. His maroon bolt vest was too large for his skinny body. His sleepy eyes gazed at me with stupefaction. If only they knew what it was, the beginning of their surprise. "Man," he exclaimed. "Happy to see me or not?" I smiled. "We called you so many times to camping with us, but you did not answer your phone. Come in, man." He pulled himself aside and gestured me to step inside his rusty little place. "Inviting the devil inside your house is not a good idea," I advised. "Get in," he ordered. He cannot blame me for what will happen, because I warned him about my true self. Fabrice was sleeping on a rustic brown leather sofa. He bent his feet, his head lying on the double-padded front edge of the sofa. He placed one hand on his chest while the other hand was below his rib cage. His stomach moved out and in as he snored. I wondered if they ever make a nightmare of me. "What are all these things in your hand?" asked Adam. "It's materials for fun. Remember the little girl Lisa?" I questioned back. "Oh yeah, we had so much fun with her. Who will it be this time?" He looked at me with a grin and a twinkle in his eyes. "There is no regret, huh?" I teased. "Not even a single one. Ready for round 2? He laughed. "Wake him up and let's go outside. I will tell you what's the plan." I stepped outside and waited for my victims to come. Fabrice came to join me with his sleepy head. He was not happy for ruining his sleep, but who am I to care? I took them for a walk with the only purpose to distance ourselves far away from the public campsite. Even though it is deserted now, there was no guarantee that people would not come later. Killing them one by one would be more entertaining, but there was a shortage of time. We promenaded alongside the river. My eyes did not leave the side of Adam. I watched them close, just like a lion ready to jump on its prey. I needed a quiet place where nobody would hear and see my art. We kept on strolling silently along the tree-lined till our way were blocked by a chain-linked fencing. It was preventing us access from the inside, with a red side of restricted access glued on it. Perfect. That was perfect to me. If I killed them on the other side of the fence, nobody would hear or see me. "Let's climb," I chirped. "Are you sick?" "It's written restricted access," Adam declared. "Since when do you obey to the law?" "Are you a scaredy cat?" I provoked him. "No, it's just that there might be wild animal there," Fabrice spoke. "That's what I was saying, you guys are cowards." I continued to evoke them. "No, I'm not." Adam busted out. "Let's go then," I persisted. "Fine," he agreed. "What? No," Fabrice maintained. "Are you afraid of Lisa's ghost getting to you?" I mocked. "Nonsense. Fine, let's go." Fabrice was pissed as hell. I flung my bag with all the material I would need to execute him on the other side. Agile like a monkey, I shined up the fences in a slide of second and reached the other side of the barrier. Adam followed my move, but Fabrice had some difficulty to land down his feet, so I reached him a hand and pulled him down on the ground. Idiots. Bloody idiots. They were to trust me. Time to play now. "Follow me." I tilted my head to the right. They swallowed hard and nodded. I led the way into the dense forest. Unlike the campsite, the other side was a spine-chilling jungle. Trees grow closer to each other. Instead of birds, the crickets chirped monotonously. Every step we took was like something was keeping an eye on us. The further we went, the darker the jungle became. It reminded me of my cold and gloominess grave. The wild herbs itched our feet. Mosquitoes came to feed themselves from our bloods. All those things were not an issue for me. Not all. This place was more than perfect to commit the most monstrous murder. Enough now. We need to go before we get lost, shivered Adam. His hands and feet were rash. His ankles and wrists were aflame with mosquitoes' bite. He seized my hands and tried to get me out of his sinister place. I stood still despite all his effort. He could not move me. He gave me a piece of luck and crossed his arm, waiting for an explanation. Does this place remind you of something? I asked by turning my back on both Fabrice and Adam. No, the only thing I knew is that you are behaving like an idiot. He was angry, furious. Oh, your words are like a knife stabbing my heart. I mocked. What? He asked enjoyingly. How could you forget the day when you wrapped me, killed and buried me? I sounded dramatical. If this is a kind of joke, it is not funny at all. I'm leaving. Come if you want. He tried to get away with Fabrice from me, but that was impermissible. The elephant trees root that resonated from the soil fell on my prey's way, making a whistle sound just like the sound of a bomb while falling down. Adam stared at what just happened and convinced himself that it was just a consequence. They tried to move the other way round, but this time, trailing woody stem plants raised up from the soil and twisted each other to prevent them from escaping. Without a doubt, all those things happened as per my wish. There was no way to escape now. What's happening? Both Adam and Fabrice yelled at the same time. Riddle me this guy. I am both the beginning and the end. I was born when death gave me another chance to seek revenge from my rapists and murderers. Who am I? I questioned. Troy, stop it. Adam slapped me on my back. Wrong answer. I turned with a wrathful smile and blinked my eyes to its real color. It's Lisa. No. He tried to get away without a backward glance, but there was no way out. I ambled toward him and cracked a high-pitched evil laugh that came out as crazy and hysterical. I swept my hands toward his body and Breeze pinned him down on the ground. He showed resistance by trying to kick and tilted his body from side to side, but no avail. I got my hammer out of the bag and trailed it towards Adam. His eyes bewildered as he saw me approaching him. I expected Fabrice to come for the rescue of his friend instead. He stayed glued to the soil. He did not move or speak a word. I guessed it was too much to assimilate. "Have mercy on me, please," he implored. Do you remember how much I yelled that day? I asked. I uplifted my hammer and cut off his left leg, making a clunky, satisfying sound. I opened my mouth, letting the thick red blood penetrating my throat. Adam let out a prolonged wail of pain. No, I guess I screamed a little bit louder. "Time for another try," I said by slipping toward his right leg and reciprocated my action. Adam shrieked out with both pain and terror, but I was still not satisfied by his cry. I needed more and more blood. Confusion kicked me. Was I really a ghost or a vampire? God knows. I moved toward his hands, crushed it with my feet, and chopped off both of his hands. What was impressive was that despite losing all this blood, Adam was no fainting. Such a strong man. But what's the use now? He is now a disabled man. He will surely be a burden for people. I fixed him in the eyes, pulled the hammer with both my hands, and with a sudden jerk, I beheaded him. Blood came out like a fountain, and I made myself the pleasure to swallow each drop of his blood. It had a sweet and sour flavor when I got enough of drinking his blood. I rinsed my face with it and shouted victory. My voice echoed the jungle. Time for Fabrice now. He did not move during the whole seance. His eyes did not leave my side while his mouth kept on staying wide open. I stroked my face with my hands and removed the extra blood from my eyes. Both my face and teeth were stained with blood. I brutally turned my neck to face my next victim. My breath was hard, which made my chest wheezing very loud. Seeing my eyes on him, Fabrice fell down on his knees, prone on the soil, and ramped on the opposite side. I picked up my another toy, hastened myself toward him, and sat on his back. Fabrice was unable to move even after all his struggle. Contrary to Adam, he was not bleeding at me. His mouth opened, but no sound came from it. I seized both of his hands and handcuffed him backward. "You know what? I will not kill you with any of my abilities," I convinced him. He pushed aside. He was relieved by what I was told him, but if he was thinking that he will continue to live, then he is wrong, dead wrong. I believe that animals should be killed by animals. I am sure that this jungle is infested with wild animals who are really very hungry. I said and distanced myself from him. One amongst my wonderful ghost power was the ability to control animals. Why should I dirt my hand when something else can make the dirty work in my place? I could hear Fabrice's heart racing at an incredible speed. He was scared just the way I was. I got down on my knee and pushed out harsh cries of magpies. It was my way to communicate with the wild animal. Any wild animals could resist the ghost cries, no matter how deep they are inside the forest. If they hear a ghost cries, they would rush to the ghost. A few seconds passed by when a deep and prolonged cries uttered from a wild animal were heard. I looked in the direction of where the sound was coming and noticed 2 pair of orangey brown eyes stared at me. The eyes were 3 times larger than any human beings. The animal was no other than a beautiful male lion. His coats were shady means that ranged in color from blonde to black. The beast roared and nuzzling its tremendous head on its paws. His hair was swinging like moving waves on his strong and compact body. He placed his 2 paws forward and kneeled over it. His back lifted a little bit, while his enormous eyes fixed Faris. He knew who was the prey. All that he wanted was my command for him to attack. It's not good to play with foods, I murmured to myself and pushed another cry, which only meant time to eat. The starving lion jumped on a height of 36 feet from his hide, which revealed more of its beauty. The beast could easily weigh 190 kilograms. The deep-chested cat had round ears, dark spots all over its leg. His tail ended with a dark and hairy tuft. He ran in a burst of speed, and his 4 claw feet ended on Faris' shoulder. My prey squealed and debated against the king of the jungle. The lion was not patient like me. He plunged his long pointed jaw into Faris' shoulder and wiped it off. Faris' yelling was more intense than any of my victims' cries. He was being eaten alive. The lion ripped pieces of his body and chewed the flesh like gum. The crunchy sound of muscles was so fulfilling in my ears that it left me wanting more and more. Slowly Faris' voice faded away, and his fighting for his life took a full stop. Yes, he died. I killed all my rapists and my murderers, except Troy. I knew exactly what to do with him. There must be a mobile phone on one of those bastards. I approached the shattering body of Adam and searched for his phone. Bingo! I exclaimed as I got his new matte black iPhone in my hand. Yes, my hammer cracked the screen, but I could still use it. The phone rang 2 times before a woman picked up. Police station, how can I help you? The woman's voice sounded through the phone. I am Troy Peterson. I killed 5 people. You will find 3 of them in the Forest of Silence. 1 in a supermarket and 2 here in River View Forest, I said before hanging up. Making him kill his beloved was not only to entertain me, but for his fingerprint to be present on every victim. He thought he was untouchable. But now he will either end up in jail for the rest of his life, or they will simply send him to a mental asylum. I extracted myself from his body. He would not run away even if he wanted to, not because I would threaten him, but because he was a weak man who starved for several days. Goodbye, Troy. I kissed him on the lips and vanished into the air. If nobody can give you justice, then you need to find it yourself. I died in the most atrocious way. I was someone with dreams, aims, and there were lots of things that I did not yet discover in life. But that's all right, because I will make my resurrection, not in my wooden body under the ground, but inside the radiant person just in front of me. Even though I was invited by her, she could not see me. She was taking a nap on her brown round bed with headboard. She wore a slight waist, above knees pajama. Her beautiful curly hair spread out on her white fluffy pillow. Her television was not even switched off. She might fall asleep while watching TV. The young bachelor Troy Patterson was sent to Rosewood Psychiatric Hospital. He confessed about killing 5 people in the most monstrous way. A girl was also found imprisoned in a cage next to his victims. His only explanation was that a ghost forced him to do. Enhance the informant on the TV. I grinned and sat next to my lovely Malia. This body will be mine soon. It was not more perfect than those of Amanda, but I was better than my old body. This corpse will provide me with a new beginning, a new start. I will start afresh, graduate, have a job, make a family. Thank you, Malia, I whispered into his ears. I got up and took the position to invade Malia's body when the door behind me cracked open. An angry old man with a white medium beard, thick white narrow eyebrows, his fingers curled into the palm and the thumb retracted, displaying a knuckle, appeared father. Behind him was my ex-best friend. She betrayed me. She cannot be friends with me anymore. Maybe I should have killed her too. Lisa, squeaked my father, which made Malia woke up from his deep sleep. Who are you? She yelled, but my father ignored her. Dad, what are you doing here? I asked. You killed innocent people. You caged your best friend, and now you are going to steal the life of an innocent. He yelled. Because they were obstacles. I have the right to live again. I yelled back. Temper set inside of me like fire. I snapped the round bed and lifted it up with one hand. My mouth stretched wide open, and I pushed an eternal scream. Malia fell down on the floor and gazed into the void. She could not see me, but I could sense her panic. I slammed the bed on the floor and flew toward her. I was supposed to be gentle with her, but not anymore. Father's entry aroused my instinct to hunt and to rebel. She was still gazing at the empty space when I squeezed her throat and started to fusion inside of her. Half of my soul successfully occupied Malia's body. However, the other half got interrupted by my annoying father. My father yelled by pushing his right hand forward toward me. A white light spread out and pulled me out of Malia's body. No. My voice sounded like an iron nail grinding over a metal surface. I lose my temper completely. My barely vision soul turned out transparency black. My black eyes fixed my father with envy while my hair spread all over my face. Maybe I should kill you first, I said before speeding up toward him. A green shield enveloped both Amanda and my father inside and preventing the outside from gaining access to them. Be a man and fight, I snapped. You are not my Lisa. I should have never granted you freedom. He made a circular movement with his hand and the shell disappeared. Seeing the shell disappearing, I hurled quickly in the air to attack him. He did not move. I knew it hurt him to see me hating him, but he deserved it. As I stretched out my hand toward his heart to snatch it away, he opened his fist and threw some ashes over me. Instantly, it started to burn my soul. It felt like being burned alive. What did you do? I cried out. This is holy ashes. When ghosts refuse to leave this world, ghost whispers use this ash to expatriate the soul into their realm. His cheek glistered with tears. This is not over. I will come back, I yelled out. I screamed as my soul was burning. This time, I had people hearing my pleading, but nobody helped. This was not over. I will come back again. This time, I will be fiercer and stronger. My soul melted and vanished like burned paper. My story ended up like a scar in the heart. This might be the end of this time, but I will be back. I swear I will. My revenge will be worse than this time. Thanks for staying till the end. Please subscribe for more stories.